Hey folks, Pauleh here, and I'm playing EQN Landmark. Now I finally got my claim, and I want to start building. Now I need to get acquainted with these tools, so I figured I'd do a small build just to get used to them, and then I'll start working on something more permanent. So I'm going to build one of my old favourites, which is just a nice little deck. So let's get to it, shall we? So what I want to do, first of all, is get the base down. Now here you can see how big we want it. So why don't we say, we'll make it 52 by 52. Yeah, hang on. So this grid, I believe you can turn it on and off. I'm not sure how though. But this grid is going to be your best friend when building. Okay, now for the purpose of this, I'm going to have it raised in the air. This is going to make it easier for me to sort of, build. And then I can always select it all and move it back down, so... Okay, yeah. So we want to use the material... Now I'm not even sure if I can select after I've sort of got it picked up, but let's have a look. We want to use the horizontal grain plane wood planks. So let's go ahead and add those in. Oops. Okay, perfect. Now we want to select the tool again. Now I made it 52 all the way around for a reason. We want to bring it in by 2 on each side. Now I'm not entirely sure if replacing a material with another works and you get the old one back, so for the purpose of this I'm just going to... Well, actually I could test it. See, originally I was just going to delete this out, but yeah, in fact actually I will delete it out just to be sure. So we've deleted that out, and now we've got our frame. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in... I'm wondering how much material this is going to take. Let's go ahead and use the build wood, that always looks quite nice. And we can use the tiles, I guess. Actually, I guess I don't have enough. Oh, I need 6,000. Okay, so I'm going to have to use wood for this. Hopefully I've got enough wood. And what material do we want? Would have liked something which had a pattern, but there you go. Alright, now is there a way I can sort of... Doesn't exactly match up, but... Okay, there we go. Let me just make sure I've got everything selected correctly. Yes, okay. So, I was talking about changing it. Let's see if I can just change it from here. When we actually want to move this down. So you don't even have to actually see the face, as long as you pull in the correct direction, it should work. Okay, so did this just replace? Okay, this didn't replace. I didn't have the correct wood selected. How about now? Alright, so let's try deleting it then. And we'll add in what we want. There we go. Okay, that's more like it. Now, our frame doesn't stand out too well, and it's going to be a little tricky for me to sort of replace it now, because what I'll probably do is replace it with something darker like the build wood, but for this it's fine, it's fine. Okay, so what we want to try next is, I'm going to want some stands for it. Now, what sort of boxes do we have? I believe I can copy and paste, so if I just make me... I think it'd be easy if I could just... see what let me... Maybe this will work. Okay, because it's the size of the box I've picked. Right, okay. Well... see if this will let me move it in the air. It didn't work, but at least I can add to this. There we go. Now I should be able to move this whole thing in the around. Oops. Now again, I apologise for this. It's a lot of trial and error. It is a little tricky to get used to this. Okay, so it doesn't actually move. I wonder if there's a... How can I say select it? So it's selected, yeah. Maybe if I pick a different... Get my hand empty so I'm not accidentally going to move it. Okay, I've had a little bit of a look around, and it does appear that that just isn't doable. I don't think you can move items once they're placed, which is quite sad to sort of hear that, but you know, we'll make do. We'll see what we can come up with. I know you can copy and paste, so I think that's going to be the way to go at the moment. Maybe it's something they'll add in later. I know you can move around like placed objects, but yeah. Okay, you little bugger, why aren't you moving? So, okay, we're going to have to do this a little bit differently. So, let's go ahead and... So, I'm not going to be able to move that down, but I think once I'm finished, I'll try and copy and pasting it, see if that will help. So, I believe I can... Oh, I can make faces a bit bigger on each side. Okay, I see. And I want to make it with that type of wood. So, by the way, this little thing is a picker. It's like if you use Photoshop, you can pick the colour. So basically, if I hold down Alt and click on the floor, that selects sand up here. If I click on this wood, it's going to select this type of wood. So it's quite useful. So okay. I'm going to go ahead and fill this in, and what we're going to do is try and shape this, if it will let me. Although, actually I think I want a different kind of wood, maybe vertical. Okay, so let's get rid of the selection tool. Now I'm going to have to do a bit of work on this, see if I can make it look a bit nicer. So we want to sort of bring it in a little bit. For some reason I'm having trouble selecting this side. I think maybe it's... Oh, right, there we go. It just doesn't show up. Okay, so it's not really a problem. Okay, that particular box can't be sort of removed, so... Okay, now what I'm going to do is use the smooth tool. Gotta hope this works. The smooth tool is a bit big, can I make it any smaller? That's the smallest it goes. Okay, so basically wanting to sort of, there we go, just make it a bit bigger to encompass the whole thing. So all I was really wanting to do was sort of make it look a bit more natural, mould it a little bit. There we go. Now I realise that it doesn't look that smart, and all the texture's gone from it because it's become all blurry. But it's a work in progress. Let's go ahead and add more to what I'm assuming is the base, I'm not sure. Nope, I just used the wrong tool. And I think I can Control Z that, yes I can. I think I Control Z the whole thing. Let's see how far back we can go. I'll give it another go, see if I can smooth it out, make it look a bit better. It sort of looks like how I want it to, but the lack of textures does kind of bum me out, but I don't know how far it keeps the history when smoothing something. I think that was it, that's about as far back as I can go. Okay. To be honest, it's not too bad though, it's not too bad. You've got the general sort of shape there. It completely warps depending on how big you do this, and that's more like it. Again, it could have been a lot better, but I think it rounded it off where I wanted to and kept it straight, roughly. Again, it's a bit blurry for my liking, but that's not really a problem. We could always add on. I was going to say we could add in, a couple more blocks, but so here's what we could do. I could bring the lower face in. I'm struggling a little bit just because these tools are, I'm getting used to them. Actually, no, I think that will work. So, let's go ahead and select the whole thing. So there we go, I can now paste this. We're going to want this in the corner. I'm thinking maybe if I put it there. There we go. Now it's a bit small, and unfortunately, because I don't have a sort of grid to sort of, I think it's on Snap 2 by the way, that's why it's sort of going wherever it pleases. But that's fine. Actually, I believe there's a scale. There's a way to scale it, but I don't know where or how to access that. But I could have scaled this. But there we go, these are our sort of stands. I could add on a few more, I don't think they're needed. I'd make the platform fairly big, but not to worry. And of course I can go ahead and delete this now, it's not needed. Now that's not the best, but you kind of get what I'm going for, and yes I did make the deck way too big, but again, not a problem. That's something we can work with. Okay, so I think now I need to make some steps, and the steps we don't want too big, so in fact, how long is this again? 52. gotta get used to this. Ah, I can just click here. There we go. And my math sucks, so I have a hard time working out how or where the centre of this is. The easiest thing to do would just be to build a oh Christ, I've lost it all. So it differs on size and what you're building. Alright, so screw it, we'll just randomly place it. It doesn't have to be perfect. As I said, this is just to help me get used to the tools, so and because this is actually fairly big already, right, I see, so you need to, if you want to have like a more finer sort of size of things, you need to use a smaller grid. So you want to use the smallest voxel size when building, so you can resize it accordingly, like that. Now this is going to be my sort of step. And the question is, do I have it start? Where do I have it start? Well, I could have it start here. Now I can do it two ways. I can have it overlap into each other, like this. And make some really small steps. Or I can do it how I was going to do it originally, have some pretty big steps. Although I think this would work a bit better, so just kind of wish I did that up here. I can still add that on, so it's not a problem. So I wonder if I can sort of speed this process up. You gotta be careful where you click, because if I misclick, I'm gonna lose my selection tool, or my current selection, which is going to be a bit of a pain. And I only have to get this to go as low as what the stands are, but then again, it doesn't matter if it goes in the floor, and I can always cut off whatever's excess, so yeah, that's not really a problem, and I think that's enough. And because I kind of messed up the top here, I can take it back like so. Let me bring it out one, and I want to bring in the back face in a little bit if I can. I like that these stick out a little bit, it does make it easier. So if I put that there, I can go ahead and fill that in. There we go. Now I realise that the textures don't line up here, but not to worry. Although that would be a simple case of selecting this, removing it, because you're not going to see it underneath, and then doppling that in and refilling it, and it all matches up. Okay, so next I want to add on some rails. Now I could pretty well use these if I wanted to, but as of right now I'm not too sure. So I think what I'm going to do is see if I can use the selection tool for this. Raise it up a little bit. We're going to want it too high. I'm going to get thrown if I'm not careful. So we want to pick that on the ground. We want to fill this in. Don't tell me I'm out of... I think I'm out of wood. That is going to be a problem. Okay. So there's one other way we can do this. So if that is the case, I'm out of wood, then... Oh, well, originally I was going to do the same as the floor, but... Okay, so I just want to fill this. Yeah, that was the reason. And this is a simple case now, just... Trying to there we go. Not sure why this is spinning. Right, there we go. For some reason it's permanently clicked, I'm not sure why. There we go. Okay, so again, apologies for my noobishness, gotta get used to this. Eventually, I mean, with enough practice, it'll just be like all fluid, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm getting low on wood, so I'm going to try and wrap this up soon. My next build's probably going to be out of something else. Now, I should be able to rotate this, but it's not letting me, so I'm going to have to... Might as well just do this. Control Y will undo, or will redo and undo, so I just messed that up. I was able to get it back, which is fine. Okay. For some reason that's wanting to resize. I just want to pull this face out, there we go. And if it will let me. Again, I apologise, this is kind of sort of slow, but practice. Alright, so now we've done that. A couple of things I want to do. First of all, we want to make a bit of a gap here. Ooh, I didn't select the bottom face. Not to worry, I should just be able to select this, pull it down one. For some reason it's not letting me doing it, there we go. And of course, I didn't line that up right. Now, what I'd like to do is get that all selected, and I want to see how it looks if I use the smooth tool. Just soften it up a little bit. Okay, so this is actually a bit high, so it's been my intention to select it all. Just make sure I got that corner. And then I want to make sure I can delete it. And yep, I can. So I can, place it and then delete it and then replace it again. So that's fine if you delete it after you've placed it. We want it a bit lower, probably about there. There we go. And now, of course, I just need to add in put these in the corner. Now this is going to be a bit tricky. Eventually I'll go around and smooth this out. To be honest, maybe using the smooth tool on the bars, the barrier going around, is probably wasn't a good idea. You know, it looks a bit weird, but I'm mostly testing at the moment, seeing what we can come up with. This in the corner. I probably want one. Oops. I probably want one in the middle of these, but for the moment I think that's fine without. Now again, I want to have a quick look at the smooth tool, see what I can do. Now, if that will fit in there. So I can just sort of crumple in the edges a little bit, just to make it look a bit more natural. I want to keep the floor perfectly square, but make this look a bit more carved, as you will. Do these two. I wonder if I can smooth this out so it doesn't look as bad. It's mostly the fact that the textures go kind of blurry. If they stayed sharper when you smooth stuff out, it wouldn't be so bad. But you can barely see half these textures, especially on the wood. The stone ones aren't as bad, so I'll probably be using that quite a bit in my next builds. This isn't wanting to smooth. Did I unselect it? There we go. I kind of hit the floor there, didn't mean to, but it doesn't matter. Just this last one. Okay, so we've got all the sides sort of smoothed in, which is good. It doesn't look too bad. It could be better. Probably could be a lot better, but first time, eh? So what I want to do now is go from this corner to here, and if I can bring it down. Actually, I want to. It doesn't matter if I select the air. So. Okay, I've copied all that, I'm going to delete it, and I can get rid of that, and I can drop this, and there we go. I'll probably want to bury it in the ground a little bit. And I guess because I copied the air it kind of messed it up, but yeah, there we go. It's on the ground now, the stairs work. Doesn't look too bad, there's still a couple of sharp edges, but I mean, that was a pretty simple deck, and to be honest, it might have looked nicer if I'd have just not rounded anything off with the smooth tool, but you know, I'm testing stuff out, so I'm quite happy with how this has turned out. It actually took a lot longer than I was expecting. It's my intention to, well, I was hoping to do like a few different platforms and have them all linked up, but this was just a practice, and I've got to get used to the tools. But yeah, the tools are pretty powerful, and there's a lot you can do with them. So, and yeah, you can't move items around once you know with the selection tool, but you can copy them and repaste them in, which is going to work pretty nice. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it for this video. Make sure you stay tuned to my YouTube channel for more builds and a bunch of other stuff coming out of Landmark. Thanks for watching.